Hey, welcome back. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's have a conversation about you should know this. What's the difference between a credit card and a debit card? You probably already know that, but let's also talk about what's the difference between running a debit card like a credit card. Bet you didn't know that there is a difference. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but today is the day you're going to know for sure. So when it comes to using plastic, my opinion is if you can avoid it, avoid it. And if you can't use it responsibly, you shouldn't use it at all. You should plan on not carrying a balance over because that's just going to suck you down. Those double-digit interest rates are killing you smalls. So stay away from debt altogether. But a lot of times you hear credit card. This is a credit card. I got my name blocked out. This is an old one, not even in use. It's got a little MasterCard symbol there. This is the handy dandy. You remember I did my little experiment. I got a really cool cassette tape debit card. It's got a Visa logo down there. So what's the difference when it comes down to why does a debit card have a Visa logo? So let's just clear this up. The credit card obviously is for a line of credit. Your lender, whoever the bank is, in this case it's Bank of America, gives you a line of credit that you can use. If you can't afford to pay that line of credit back by the end of the month, it means you're spending more than you make, and that's a problem. So you want to stop doing that. But say you are using a credit card and paying the balance off every month, and you have up to a certain credit limit, you can use up to that certain credit limit. Debit card, you can only use what's in your bank. It's tied to your checking account, and once it's gone, it's gone. So sometimes you have a bank overdraft protection where if you go a little bit over, your savings account will protect it. But if you think about it, when you are at the terminal, at the cash register, and you're swiping and it says, do you want to run this as credit or debit? Sometimes you might click debit or hit debit and you have to punch in your PIN number. If you hit credit, it just kind of bypasses that whole thing. What does that mean? So when you think about the protection that comes with your credit card and your debit card, there's sometimes confusion because some people think that a credit card's safer than a debit card because a credit card comes with protection and a debit card doesn't. I'm here to bust that myth because if you look at the bottom here, there's a MasterCard logo on this one, Visa on this one. They're both protected by the same insurance coverage. This is a fraud protection. So when you run your credit card and there's fraud suspected, your credit card company is protecting you from fraudulent activity. That same credit card company, in this case it just happens to be Visa, they're two different companies, but these big names offer the same protection on your debit card. But here's the thing you should know. You should know this. You want to run your debit card as credit because that runs it through the credit network system, and that's where the protection comes from. If you run it as debit, it goes through the PIN system, goes through the debit network. And that's where the protection changes. So when you use your debit card, I want to emphasize it's important to run it as credit. But here's also what you should know. It takes sometimes if you do that on the weekend, it might take a little bit longer for that credit card transaction to fully post to your account. You might see it pending. When you use your PIN number, it goes immediately against your balance. So that's convenient to use the PIN. But if you're doing all your banking through one one checking account, that's where you're going to put yourself at risk because if somebody hacks that and gets into it, and that's where you do your bill pay out of, and that's where you do all your living out of, then you've got a problem. So here's where I'm also going to say, remember when I was talking about segregating your cash with different bank accounts? Create a grocery account, create a gas account. Use the rest for your bill pay and really don't touch that bill pay account, the main checking account. Create another account or open another account for your personal spend. That way, if something goes awry in one of those other categories, it's a lot easier to stop and replace that one because you still have your main account that has most of your cash. Those other accounts are just getting the exact budget that you've assigned to it. So segregating your cash it also is another way to protect yourself and create another layer between you and the fraudsters out there. And here's where, so my husband and I disagree on some of this approach sometimes. We approach it differently. I am always swiping as credit because I'll take the inconvenience of maybe some transactions spill over into the following week. I'm usually pretty good at keeping track of what's available in the bank. Every now and then it's slipped us up, but we've learned from that and learned how to put some checks and balances in to make sure we don't do that accidentally. But my husband likes to see the balance instantly come out of the account, especially because he does the grocery shopping, so it's nice for him to see the balance immediately reflected. I'm a little more on the cautious side, and I run everything as credit because I don't care if it spills over. So at the end of the day, that food account, we both agree, it doesn't really matter, because if that gets hacked, it's very easy for us to, or if it has to get frozen for any reason, it's very easy for us to freeze that account and temporarily do our banking through our main checking account that has the rest of our cash flow in it. So a lot of times that's a myth that debit cards are at risk or riskier. Not true. We also went on a vacation to Greece with a debit cards only, and cash. 0 problems. We rented a car, 0 problems. So let's bust that myth that you have to do life on a credit card, because you don't. MasterCard, Visa, they both offer that protection. It's when you get into the debit network that it's not the same kind of fraud protection. Banks also do want to protect their customers. So let's just talk about that for a second too. You will find that if you go to your bank and ran something through your debit account or using your PIN and you feel like that was compromised, they're going to do their best to protect you and reject that transaction or give you your money back, because they don't want to see you taken advantage of either. However, that can be bank to bank. It can vary. It's not guaranteed, as though these are when you run them, because this automatically runs as credit card, no other choice. Do not take cash out of your credit card. Do not do same as cash with your credit card. Look at the fine print. The interest rate is ridiculous. Don't do that. If you don't have the cash, don't take it out of your credit account. With your debit card, run it as credit so that you're protected through the same network and you got the same fraud protection, and then you can bank with ease with a debit card. So that's my fun fact for the day. Hop into the comments if you're confused about any of this. This just came up actually. My husband and I facilitate Financial Peace University through our church in our home, and this caused a little confusion this past week even, because that question actually came up, like, what's the difference? Why do debit cards give you the option to run as credit? So now you have it, and please jump in the comments. Tell me how you do your banking. If you do it a different way that works for you, share so that our community can learn from each other. I want to learn too, because obviously my way isn't the only way. So I love that we have this community where we can share tips, best practices, things that work for you. And then always, you can reach me on my website, moneywisemom.com. You can contact me directly. I personally check all my emails, leah@moneywisemom.com, Leah. Can't wait to hear from you. And get out there, start swiping your debit card instead of your credit card. See how it feels. It might stir up some emotions there because you're feeling like you don't have that safety net, but try it. It's gonna work out okay. I guarantee it. That's all for now. Next week, we're going to start talking about the different types of debt. Collateralized, unsecured versus secured or collateralized, when a lender can take a lien on your property and things like that. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of different types of debt so you know the risks that you're getting into when you are signing up, when you're putting your name on the line. I'm going to walk you through that and how to inform yourselves of the decisions you're making. Hopefully not getting into debt. I really want to see you stay out of debt so that you can put all your energy into building wealth and building a legacy and creating margins so you can be generous and not pay for the past. So that's all I've got this week. Can't wait to see you next week. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Bye for now.